You dumb, stupid, naive girl.
Why can't you leave my poor son, my Norman, alone?
Oh, hi everyone, welcome back. The foot's still healing, but we're still pressing on with Psycho. This week's entry is Psycho 3. It's an odd little number due to the fact that the man who normally plays Norman Bates not only continues to do so, but this time he's also the director of the movie. Though the story is not written by him, one has to feel that there's a little bit of his own additions into this film. And also the fact that he has to be both director and actor means that he probably had a lot of input as to what Norman should be doing in this film. We start up our opening shot with...
There is no God!
Yeah, that's not awkward to start a movie with. Apparently this lady in the habit is having a crisis of faith. Upon her crisis of faith, she decides to commit suicide and heads to the top of a bell tower inside of the church that she's in. While struggling, she accidentally pushes another nun to her death and then decides to just walk off. I mean, what the hell? You still could have jumped. Well, if she would have jumped, then half the plot wouldn't be here for this movie. So, carrying on. So after this, she decides to walk off. And I might also add that one of the oddest things ever in the Psycho movies happens right here. You begin to realize that this is turning, the music in this movie is turning very 80s. So much so, in fact, that they actually don't use the original Psycho theme. Although I would have thought it would fit in perfectly right here. Well, anyways, apparently she's out somewhere in the same desert where the Bates Motel is, and decides to head off and try and find the main road. Once reaching there, she comes across Dwayne.
Wouldn't want to lose you.
Dwayne Duke is a horny little scumbag who tries to make out with Maureen. She says no and eventually gets tossed out for it.
Stupid bitch! You could have been coming instead of going.
Long story short, both of them end up at the Bates Motel. Duke works for Norman due to the fact that Norman wanted help because there's apparently a big ball game going on. and he actually booked the
Maureen
whole
Coyle.
hotel.
That's a pretty name.
How much?
For a single, $25.95.
Meanwhile, Maureen just comes in as a guest. Bates, upon seeing her, keeps having flashes to Marion Kane from the original Psycho, to which I will add that apparently Maureen's last name
There
is
you go,
also
Angel.
a C.
Enjoy your stay.
Not only does Norman hear the voice of his mother in this movie, but we also get to see the body of her quite a bit in this one
the
too.
initials on her suitcase. MC.
Oh,
Marion
and
Coyle.
taxidermy with Norman doesn't
Mother,
just settle
cheap
with birds.
erotic delusions out of your cheap
You-
erotic imagination. You killed her. The slut deserved it. But she's dead. And the dead don't come back.
You came back.
I never went away. Don't you know that by now? You can't get rid of me. I'll always be with you, Norman. Always. Stand up straight and wipe.
So it doesn't take long before Norman falls back into his old ways and decides to go after Maureen, only to find her like this. And she is having some weird visions of her own. He apparently Norman, after seeing this, actually runs back to the house quickly, gets changed back to his normal clothes, comes back in again, pretending that he was going to be delivering fresh towels, and calls in the ambulance and gets her to the hospital.
Maureen, do you know who saved you?
A little later on, however, we see that Duke has come back to the hotel with some little hussy. After her and Duke have their fun, the gal is turned out pretty much almost instantly by the jerk is Dwayne, and to which we see an old woman get up after this girl as she's in the phone booth. As the movie progresses, we see more signs that Norman is slowly falling in love with Maureen, which is something that he is actually quite worried about.
A little out of style, too.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, Duke is also working with a reporter who has been occasionally popping up throughout the movie.
Sweetheart. It's already been a parade through here with cops and everything. You can rent it for all I care. Spoolie's rent was 2 weeks past due.
She's constantly bugging Norman and some of the others about the weird happenstances that have been going on since Norman has come back about a month ago, apparently, since the last movie.
Close the door when you leave.
Sure thing.
But to which Norman has been so far fairly clever in keeping everything hush-hush that he has done wrong. But on the side note, it is yet again revealed to us that there's someone in the old woman get-up going around slashing people. We're not sure if it's Norman, we're not sure if it's the reporter doing it this time. And to be quite honest, quite often when someone gets killed, Norman comes back and seems quite surprised as normal, but then again, that's normal for him. He doesn't seem to realize what's going on when he's not really himself. Split personality, you might say. To which there's still a healthy amount of plot twists. But things really don't start get moving until the police show up at Norman's house and decide to have a look around. To which Norman then decides to take all the bodies that he's been hiding, because apparently he's been at least cleaned up, although it's not guaranteed that he's actually the real murderer.
Well, we'll leave you alone now. Again, I'm sorry.
However, the other big surprise is what's going to happen next to all these characters. What happens to Duke, what happens to Maureen, what happens to the reporter, how they're all involved with everything that's going on, is a surprise to be left till the end. As well as how the big epic finale comes down.
That's where he dumped the last body.
I will show you this.
Why can't you leave my poor son, my Norman, alone?
And this.
did she do? Come to you, tell you that she was your mother? She was crazy, Norman, but she wasn't your mother. Neither are you!
Just, wow. Dark. You can see the eyes and the shadows. But, seriously, folks, this is yet another great sequel. The only thing that it is lacking, however, is the actual original Psycho theme. If it had that still in this movie, it would have been completely perfect. Now, so just so you know ahead of time, I will not be doing another review next week. However, I will be doing is I will have next week is actually the Geek Day celebration, and to which I have 2 videos I'll be working on. First and foremost, I have to work on the most yet is showing everything geeky in my room, or at least a good portion of it. But there's another side project which will actually be a really good idea to release close to Geek Day anyways, not only as a warmer-upper, but also because, well, it's been waiting on the camera and on my computer's hard drive for how many weeks now, and to be honest, it's just a good excuse to get it done and get it out there. Not to mention, right now, with Geek Day coming up, it'll probably get a little more attention than normal, and I can title it something similar to Geek Day. But I digress. I will be still seeing you guys a little bit next week. I will probably also keep up with the other things, but most definitely beware of the Geek Day, and I shall be back after Geek Day for the final installment of the Psycho sequels, Psycho 4. Ha ha ha!